How are you this morning? So let me see.
I'm doing good.
You've had a nagging feeling you needed to talk to me, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've keep running into your lives for like a really long time
There's
now, and
there's a
yes,
reason. Listen, I come
yes,
across. Listen, whoever sees this, there's 50 people here. There's a reason y'all are in here in my FYP. If I've never given you a
exactly.
reading, so there's a reason you keep finding me on TikTok. And I'm a
Yes,
very good psychic medium, as everybody else says.
yes.
Now
And
the
I've been
chat.
watching long enough that I agree with you, and I've seen like other people's
Oh,
reactions. It's been really cool to watch. So I'm like, I want to do it too.
how long have you been watching me out of curiosity?
Probably like at least 3 or 4 months, I would say.
Now, you guys, I cannot see the chat. It happens. So please, my mods, please, whatever people are writing, please respond back while I'm doing this. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, sweetheart. So give me an idea about what's been going on with you right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different people that I've lost that I would be trying to connect to, and I mean,
What
I've
about your
also,
mom? Has your mom passed away?
no, my mom is still alive.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, but there's been some, like I'm 20, I'm in my 20s, so, a lot of ups and downs in my life, lots of like new beginnings, ends, and just lots of like trying to discover myself. So I guess just overall looking for answers and whatever you might feel.
I was 35 years ago. I was pregnant with my daughter Destiny at 20. Oh,
Oh, wow.
God, you're not. I hope you're not pregnant, are you? Because you don't need to be
Oh,
pregnant at
no.
20.
No, no.
In
I don't really want
1990.
kids.
I was
We'll see.
pregnant with. I was pregnant from 19 to 20 with my
Oh,
first
wow.
daughter Destiny, but I was married to her dad, so I
Oh,
wasn't. I wasn't alone. So yeah,
that's good. I'm glad. That's awesome. That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Me too. Me too. Me too. All right. Well, let me see what's coming
Yeah.
through now. Is your dad also alive as well?
No, he passed away.
Okay, because what I heard was dad, but I wanted to make sure I was with him. Would you like to talk to your father?
Yes, yeah.
Why do I get an Italian vibe from you guys? Are you guys Italian?
Yeah, we do have Italian in us. I
Because
think,
I'm hearing about Italian, you know, Italy, Sicily, all those good, Nice. I don't
yes.
know where
Yes.
all
My
those
great
freaking.
grandfather was from Sicily, actually. He was like,
I
yeah.
freaking heard Sicily. You're kidding, right?
Yeah, no, he was. He was actually like he was an immigrant from there and he got adopted and came to America.
He got adopted by an American couple. Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Damn! And you said it's your grandfather or great grandfather?
That's my great grandfather. That's also on my
How
dad's side.
lucky was he? Oh my gosh, your dad must have been so happy. Not that Italy's a great place to live, mind you. I'm not saying America. What's going on in America since Trump got elected? I have no idea what's going on.
Right,
Some weird shit's going on right now, and I don't know what to do about it.
right.
I don't know. I'm trying not to pay attention, but it's hard. It's everywhere you look right now on my phone. It's like, well, how do you get away from this shit?
Right, I know. Tell me about it. And
Are
that's
you
yeah.
are you going to school?
Not at the moment. I mean, I'm studying for some different things because I work in IT, like the computer world. So there's always new certificates and things to get.
Why am I
But
hearing about dental things with you? What's going on with dental stuff? Is there some dental stuff you need to worry about? Or is your family
um,
dental in the dental industry?
no, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. That's interesting.
Because what I heard was dental, and I don't know what to do with that. That's so strange.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Maybe something will come of it. I'll make
When's the
note of
last
it.
time you went to the dentist, young lady? Maybe they're trying to tell you something.
Right. I actually just was supposed to go this month. I gotta go. Well, I was supposed to go last month. I rescheduled my appointment. We'll see what happens when I go.
Now, I heard a relation. Are you in a relationship? Because what I heard was relationship. Is that something you need to talk about?
Kind of, yeah. Funny
Is
that
this
you
like?
bring that up.
No, it's not funny. It's legit what we talk about. It's legit what I'm hearing about. Um, is this like an off again, on again kind of thing for you, sweetheart?
Um, so there's a few different. I'm not sure what you're like feeling. I mean, there's a few different relationships that I've been dealing with over the past couple of years that I'd say you could you might be feeling
I'm
on.
talking about a boy, like a boy, maybe.
Right. Yes. Yes. There's been two that are kind of just prevalent right now. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I heard boys, so I figured it was just men. It's a man, but they're still boys
Yes.
to me. Y'all are girls and boys to me, I swear. Because my granddaughter is 15, so she's
Yes.
coming up in age too. So
Yes.
I'm tired of sounding like a frog.
I know. I messaged you and you were like, "I'm sick. Hopefully, I'll be doing reading soon." So that's why I waited it out. I'm glad you're feeling a
Yeah,
little better, but I see you're still sick.
yeah. Okay, let's see what your dad is telling me. Did your dad have heart problems? Because what I'm hearing about is heart attack, maybe a heart attack. Would that be for your father or somebody else?
It might be someone else. I'm not sure. I mean, there's like I lost my uncle as well, and it's like I'm not really sure the extent of what happened to him.
Your
So that
dad, you
was
don't
my
know exactly what happened to your dad.
no. I know what happened to my dad. But my
Okay.
uncle is the one who was my dad's. My dad has a twin brother. That's my uncle, and he's the one. I'm not sure how he passed away, but they
Oh
both
my
passed away.
God, that your dad's got to be feeling awful since that happened.
Well, my dad passed away. Yeah.
Well, I meant after he. Wait. So who passed first? Your dad?
I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay. So my dad passed first, and then my
Okay.
uncle had to
So
take the.
your
I see what
uncle,
you're
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yes.
Whoever it was passed first
Yes.
must have felt awful when they lost the other one. They are joined
Exactly.
like this at the hip on the other, together like this on the other side.
Exactly.
And so your dad passed first. Interesting. Would there be any cancer with your father? I'm hearing about cancer.
No, but my great grandfather that I was talking about, the
Grandfather.
Sicily one, he seems to be coming through.
Yes, definitely for sure. I feel like your grandfather is your great grandfather. You didn't know him, of course, did you?
I did actually. I grew up with him until he lived a long. He was old, but he lived long, so he.
Oh, that's
I
good.
knew
I
him when
wasn't
I was
sure
like
because
11.
a lot of people don't have their great grandparents. I'm not connected yet.
Yes,
I was just
exactly.
asking.
Yes, I was
He
fortunate.
to me, he seems like he was a handful of a man.
He could be for sure. Yes.
Really boisterous.
He was kind of like he was quiet, but once you get him started, that's when he really starts to like take off like a rocket.
But let me ask you a question, because he came here when he was young. I don't feel like him having a very strong Italian accent, did he?
No, nope.
I feel like it's an American accent, just an Italian American, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
But he
He had
was
the
very
dark
proud
skin.
of his heritage, your great grandfather.
Yes, his hair, you said?
A heritage, but yes, hair. There's a reason. This is so funny. There's a reason. I was wondering, why am I playing with my hair so much? There's a reason. Because he must have been very proud of his hair. He had some good
was,
hair on
yes.
him, didn't he?
He did, yeah. And it was like it would stay black until he was like into his 80s.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was awesome. He would always slick it and everything to the side. Like he looked very, very Italian.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm assuming your dad doesn't have much gray hair, or your grandfather didn't have much gray hair either.
So my grandfather I never met. He passed away when my dad was a kid.
I'm sorry. I know that affected your dad and your uncle a lot too, I'm sure.
Yeah, my dad and uncle went through a lot. Like they went through a lot of things. I actually recently just lost my grandmother, who was my dad's mother. So she lost
Wow.
her kids and her husband, and it was just tragic. Like I feel like on my dad's side, honestly.
Some people why some people are hit with tragedy after tragedy. I'll never understand that, to be honest with you.
Yes, exactly. It's weird.
It's just a weird thing that happens. I don't know why. It just, it's one of those things that people, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Exactly.
Your dad was pretty young when he passed away too, wasn't he? I feel like he was in his 40s for some reason.
Yeah, he was 38, very close.
Yeah, very close.
He was nervous about getting old. He was very vain.
He was very vain. He didn't want to get old.
Yeah, he loved himself. He was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to look old. I don't want to get wrinkly. Like I want to stay young."
Well, he lived young forever. Was there any kind of? I just heard accident. Was there any kind of accident with your father in his passing?
I mean, it was sort of like an accident, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't want to give too much. I want to see if you
No,
feel it.
no, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I'll get it. Sometimes I don't want to talk about it. So it just
Yes.
depends if they don't want to talk about it. If flat out refuses, you can just tell me at the end. But sometimes they don't tell me. They just don't. I'd be guessing it sometimes at that point, and I don't want to do that. So
No, exactly, exactly. No, I get that. So basically what had happened is my dad had a lot of like mental health issues.
stop for a second.
Okay.
Did he unalive himself by accident?
We don't know if it was an accident, but we assume it was planned because of how it went about.
It was.
Like maybe his mind wasn't right, basically.
Your dad was severely depressed. The vanity goes along with his mental illness.
Yep. I could see that.
He was very stuck on himself, but I don't think he meant to be. You know that, right?
Exactly.
He says, what a shithead I was. But he says, no matter how I acted, there was never no doubt of how much I love you, my girl. That's what he says. He says, no matter how I acted about myself, with my hair, whatever I did. He said, there was never any doubt that I loved you. He says, I'm sorry that I might not have been able to show you in the way that you needed me to show you. If that makes sense for you.
Definitely.
I'm just gonna ask you, did you feel you weren't loved enough by your father?
I mean, I don't think so. I think it was just like, yeah. It was hard for him to show. I don't know.
He couldn't love you the way he needed to. You know that, right?
Right. Exactly.
So he says, sweetheart, I'm sorry for that. He says, if I would have given you the world, it's just my mental illness overtook me so much and I didn't know how to deal with it, how much to handle it. And I'm just very sorry. He says, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it.
I feel like that too.
And he says, I'm sorry that I left you. He says, I never would have left you if he says, I just felt so sometimes trapped underneath my skin. I just didn't feel like a whole person, he says. He says, I wanted to be a better dad. I tried. He says, I'm just really sorry. I feel so bad for your dad. Damn it. It's so hard when they make me cry because losing my husband, I'm still grieving him 15 months later. And, I know that I had this ability after he died, but it doesn't make it any easier. When my kids lost their dad, my husband looked Italian, but he wasn't. It was so strange. He had the jettest black hair, but he wasn't Italian. He had Italian features, but there's no Italian.
That's so funny. My dad, he had more Irish than Italian. I mean, he had both. He was Irish and Italian, but he looked Italian.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just, no, I feel like I don't feel like he meant to do it, but I also feel like he was just struggling.
Did he take something? Did he take something to help make that happen? Do you know?
That's what so I wasn't there that day, my sister was, but basically for that, I don't know, maybe a few days of time, he had been drinking and taking who knows what type of substance.
It caused his heart to stop. He had it caused his heart, and so he died. They stopped his heart. That's what happened.
That's what I was thinking too.
He died. He died because it's all that shit he did, and he stopped his heart, sweetheart. He says, I was just an idiot. I don't know what was wrong with me. He says, I just did not feel good about myself. And so he acted like he did. There's a reason why he was so vain, because people are that vain actually don't care about themselves. They're shallow. They only care about how they look on the outside, not the inside. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yep. That's so true. And he was always such a happy person,
It's a cover up.
Exactly. But then you'd find him like, in his vulnerable moments and he was just so weak, like and so
Yeah.
sad. But
He says, I faked it till I made it, that kind of thing. Does that phrase mean something?
yeah,
Faked it till I made it. I don't know the exact phrase, but that's what I feel for him,
exactly.
sweetheart. And I know that people that have mental illness, like my husband, it affects the other people around them too. I don't have mental illness. I never did. But the way my husband was affected me dramatically, and my children,
Exactly.
and my
And it's hard to
grandchildren.
feel like you can't do anything,
Exactly. They gotta want to help themselves before they can actually. You can't force them to do something.
Exactly.
You can't force them to take care of themselves. You just can't.
Yes, and I feel like a lot of my childhood, that's what I would try to do, is show him like we care about you, like you're loved. And
He
but
couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept it
yeah, it just
because he
wasn't
didn't love
enough.
himself enough to accept other people's love into his life.
Exactly.
He says,
And
but
yeah,
he says, if I could have, I would have, I tried. He says, damn it, I tried so hard. I feel so sorry for him. He's so sad right now. He said, sweetheart, I tried. But no matter how I felt about myself, my love for you was never fake. He said, I did love you truly, so much. And your sister, I loved you guys so much. Do you also have a brother?
I do have a brother, but he's my half brother. But we had a different dad. But my dad used to see him when he was growing up.
So it's just you and your sister then, correct?
Yeah, but he would see my brother. Like he loved my brother too. It just wasn't his son.
But that's okay. He loved all of you guys. He just
Yeah.
didn't love himself. There's a thing, you can not love yourself and still love other people. It's just a weird thing. Damn it, sorry. He's making me feel so sad. I feel his mental disease was so hard on him. He tried. He faked it. He tried. People didn't realize what was wrong with your father because he didn't want to show it in front of people. But in the background, you knew it was there.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I don't have much to say. I just want to listen. Like I've just waited so long.
You don't have to. You don't. It's my job to tell you. Your job is just to listen and validate. That's all your job is. You don't have to say anything. My job as this reader is to tell the sitter what I'm supposed to tell them. You know what I'm saying? That's my job.
Exactly. I appreciate that.
Of course, sweetheart. Of course.
Do you feel like you hear from do you feel any other energy?
Yeah, of course you know your uncle is here too.
I feel like I've been very connected to my uncle lately. Like I don't know, his death affected me differently, I think.
I think so too. I think because you were close with him, weren't you?
I was, and he never had kids.
I don't know why I don't feel like your uncle had the same kind of mental illness as your father.
Yeah, it was different. He had mental illness, but it was very different, I think. And he was more just addicted to drugs and stuff, and that's what I feel really ruined his life. Yeah.
I believe he had a heart attack. I believe that's why he passed away. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like he had a heart attack, sweetheart.
I could see that.
So, was this a fairly recent passing for him?
My uncle, no, not really, no. That was back in 2016, I think. 2015, 2016.
2015. Okay, so it's been a while. But to you, it still feels like it's pretty new, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those were the only all the male figures in my life are gone.
You lost your dad and your uncle at a young age. It's hard to deal with death. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I never knew my grandfather, like I told you, and then my great grandfather I knew, but obviously he was old and he passed away. Like probably more actually after both of them, I think he passed away.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, the parents are not supposed to outlive the children,
Exactly.
but some do.
Yep.
And it's just children are supposed to, that the way nature is supposed to go, children are supposed to outlive their parents, but it's not always like that. Like with your great grandfather outlived your grandfather, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then like yeah, it was just
So I know losing him was hard. I'm sure losing his son was hard on him as well.
Yes.
Do you have anybody with Alzheimer's or dementia reference around you, sweetheart?
My great grandmother, the one that was married to my great grandfather, she outlived him for a long time, but she had dementia for so long. She recently passed away like a year or two ago, actually.
Okay, so she's the recent one. Okay. She was in her 90s, wasn't she? I feel like she was in her 90s when she passed. I don't know, I just heard like 96, 97. I feel like she was pretty old.
She was, yes, exactly. And I haven't seen her in a long time because she,
Was she in a nursing home?
Yes, yep.
Because she told me she was in a nursing home. You know, she's back in her 30s now, and your great grandfather's back in their 30s too. Everybody goes back to the age of 30 on the other side. So that's a cool age apparently that everybody wants to hang out and live to be on the other side to be 30-year-old. You know, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I always wondered if she remembered like the things that we did together because I grew up with like my great grandparents, like more than like
she remembers everything. Listen, sweetheart, she remembers everything because now that she's crossed over, she does. Once she was in Alzheimer's now, but she says, honey, I remember everything I did in my lifetime. She said, I had a good lifetime. I missed your grandfather. I miss your great grandfather because it was very hard on her when your dad died. Your grandfather died. It was unfortunate. Now, do you have any military background in your family? I'm hearing about military.
Yeah, my great grandfather and my dad too was. He didn't like serve, but he went to basic training and all of that stuff.
Okay,
and my dad was very proud of it.
Of course. Listen, I would be too if I at least tried to attempt something like that.
Yes. So we all still have his like gear and stuff. My dad's stuff that he had from training.
Of course. Hold on a second, sweetheart. Give me a second. Oh, gosh. I still try to clear up my tears. Listen, I don't like crying in readings, but it's inevitable that I'm crying in readings. That happens all the time, my friend. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you feel it.
I just feel the pain because you guys are in pain. I'm an empath. I'm an energy healer, psychic medium. All that good stuff. I'm an angelic. I have a 15. I know you can't see them, honey, but I have a 15-foot wingspan attached to my back. Because I'm an angelic starseed, so that's why I get so precise all the time. I never understood it until that exact moment why I knew I was an angelic starseed, because I'm from the angels, darling. So crazy. So crazy to think about that.
It's good when you finally get in touch with yourself like that and you feel
Archangel Michael is over me. He's like, or he's the one like connected, is the Archangel Michael. Maybe that's why my name is Michelle. Maybe they didn't know it at the time when they named me.
That's so true. I love that.
Maybe that's just I don't know if that's a coincidence. I don't know. I just feel that's not a coincidence, because Michelle is a female of Michael. Because so Archangel Michael. Or of course, I could call him Archangel Michael because apparently you could make snow angles in the snow, according to somebody named Matt. I don't know if he's here or not. So he's my Archangel Michael. No, he's probably not here. He probably left. I can't tell. Oh, snap. But yes, so Archangel Michael was with me. So, and I'm so glad everything come to fruition because I'm here to be spot on about everything as much as I can.
Yes.
Let me see what else I'm hearing for you, sweetheart. But your grandmother's, she said, sweetie, I want you to remember everything. She said, she said the favorite things that I used to do with you was just talking with you. Talking with you made her feel young again. Before she got sick, she says, I love just having our conversations together.
That's what I remember too.
Just having those deep conversations, that's, that's what means the most to me. People communicating with me and talking to me. Nothing anybody could ever give me. Nothing that anybody could have ever done for me. It's just the conversations. I'm so unmaterialistic. If y'all could see my room, you'd be ashamed of me because I have no material things, because you can't bring it with you. So I am not a materialistic person. I've never been one in my whole life.
It's
And
funny
so
because it's funny for my great grandmother to come through, because to be honest with you, she was kind of I don't know, she was not the nicest person, and I don't know if that was because of her Alzheimer's, but she was mean, and a lot of my family, they don't even like her.
it's part of it. It's part of it. It's because of her disorder and her disease.
Yes,
But I
that's what
know, she said, the thing is, you try to have a relationship with me. She said that was the important part. She says, I'm sorry I was an old bat. Oh my God. She just told me she just called herself an old bat. I've never in all these readings had anybody call themselves an old bat.
I can definitely hear her saying that. She was funny like that. She was funny.
Oh my God. That's freaking hilarious, dude. I love that. I love that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
She says everything that's going on in this life, of course, is not permanent. She says, but sweetheart, you will find your way. You will get your footing into the ground. She says, always ground yourself. First of all, ground yourself. I think she's trying to give you the messages that you need to hear because you felt you needed messages. She said, always keep yourself grounded. Always keep your feet planted firmly on the ground. And then if you got to get a running start, get those feet planted and just get a running start and never look back. And listen to your heart. You're always going to know. Your heart will never steer you wrong. She said your gut will never tell you what's wrong. If you know something is wrong in your gut, listen to it. Never not listen to your gut. You're gonna stumble in this life. You're going to misstep in this life. Get yourself back on track. She says, know what you want and go after it. And never shortchange yourself, sweetheart. She said, never shortchange yourself. Never. She said, you're your biggest champion. You are your biggest champion. You make sure you keep yourself, fight for yourself. Only you can fight for yourself. Nobody else can do it. If you know what you want, go out and get it.
Exactly. I do agree with that.
And never sell yourself short for anybody. Don't sell yourself short, she says. She said, keep the path, keep the straight path. You'll find your way. You'll get there. You'll find your destiny. You'll find your path in life. You'll find what you're meant to do and what you're supposed to do. She says, my God, you're only 20. You're 20, right?
I'm 26.
You're in your 20s, okay. She says, I thought you said you were 20, and instead of in 20s. She said, you're 26. You're going to find your way. You're still learning. You're still growing. You have your whole life ahead of you. Enjoy it while you're still young. Don't rush anything. Just don't rush anything, sweetheart. Breathe it all in. Take it all in. Enjoy your youth, because one day you won't have it anymore.
Exactly. She used to always tell me, oh, you only get one sister, you only get one brother, you only, love everybody.
This is why this is why your messages are from her, because this is what she'd say. She said, love yourself enough, and then the other love will fall into place. She said, if you love yourself enough, everything else will just fall into place. And that's all you need. Love in this life, she said, that's the only thing worth fighting for is love. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Loving and being loved is the only thing worth fighting for.
I agree.
Nothing else. Nothing else. I agree. Nothing else in this world is worth fighting for but love. Fighting for jobs. That's such fucking if you don't have love in your life, you're not a human. You're not a human being. If you don't have love in your life, you don't have anything, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I fight for love every day. I fight to be loved every day, but not, I don't know with who yet, because I don't have anybody in my life right now, but one day that will happen, I suppose.
I guess sometimes too, we have to remember, like, to love, like, it's not always just like the romantic love. It's like, our family too. And I feel like sometimes, like, I get caught up in that. But I think a lot of that is because, I don't have my father around me, and I'm like searching for this like male figure in my life.
Family first, everything else falls into place.
Exactly.
I know you don't have any male role models left, and I'm sorry. And your dad said, I'm just sorry that I can't be here to try to guide you. But he will guide you from the other side. Just listen for him. He'll flicker your lights. If you're having a bad day, he'll flicker your lights. If you haven't seen him yet, he'll flicker your lights in your house. He will show you angel numbers. Like, you look at your phone, it's 1111 or 111. Or right now it's 10:55. That's not angel numbers, but say you look at your phone, it says 111. That's a sign. Or you look at the clock or something on the TV, numbers in 3s or 4s. Those are all angel numbers. Those are the signs that they give us from the other side. It's not a coincidence when we look at our phone or the clock, it says that time at that specific time.
It's funny because my whole life, like even before my dad died, I've always looked at the clock at 9:11, and it happens to me like multiple times a week, at the morning, the night. It's so weird. I've always wondered if that like has some connection to something that I'm supposed to know.
Those are your numbers. The 911. Listen, they don't have to be the same number, but most of the time it is. But yes. 911 is just your sign that everything's okay, sweetheart.
Yep.
And your dad and your uncle miss you, and they're sorry they're not with you, but they're both together. They're in their 30s again, handsome as hell. We're handsome as hell over here, believe me. No mental illness over there. There's nothing. Your dad and your uncle are safe with your grandfather and your great grandfather and your grandmothers and all your grandparents. Everybody over there is safe, sweetheart.
I appreciate you.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
I just felt so lost. I feel like, in a way, I just feel like I've needed to hear something, because I just keep losing people, whether it's people that still walk this earth or people that no longer do,
Well, let me ask you this. I know the reading's pretty much over, but how do you feel now? You feel better?
I do. I do feel better. I think, sometimes you don't always get what you want to hear necessarily, but I think it shows you, like, for example, like my grandmother came through. I didn't expect that. And so it's interesting how that works,
And she was the one that was supposed to give you all those messages. Yeah, everything she said was very profound. You know that?
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, so, I just want you to know that everybody loves you on the other side. Of course, how much family do you have left now? Your sister and your brother, and who else?
And my mother.
Your mother. Treasure each other. Treasure your mom and your sister. Let them be your biggest supporter,
Exactly.
Support them. Your mom's your only parent left. Treasure your mom. Spend every second you can with your mom. Don't.
I always think the same thing. She's like my everything.
My mom's not here. She left when I was 4 or 5, and I didn't see her much in adulthood. And she died. She was a couple years younger than me when she died. And I'm thinking, damn, I outlived my mom, but not having that. My grandmother was my mother. Yeah. So I'm not saying that. It's just I was always envious of these girls having relationships with their moms growing up, because I didn't have that shit. Yep. But my grandmother was my mother, her mother. So I vowed to be the mother that my mom wasn't, and I was.
Yep. Good for you. That's amazing. And you know what? Like now, I mean, I'm so sorry about your husband, but I'm happy to hear that your kids have you.
Yeah, I live with my two youngest.
Who experiences it.
I live with my two youngest children now. After my husband passed away, we got a place together. So
that's good. I love that.
Well, let me stop the
Sometimes I feel
recording.
like that's what. Yes, sounds
I
good.
know I'm going to stop it, honey.